Hello friends and my dear students, today we will discuss on the topic evolution of pharmacovigilance system in India under WHO. Now basically it started with all thalidomide tragedy. The idea of pharmacovigilance took shape after 1961 after the thalidomide tragedy was reported. Thalidomide was marketed in 1956 in Western Germany and was mainly used as a hypnotic or sedative drug and later used as a drug which can treat nausea in pregnant women. However, the babies born to these pregnant women suffered from a massive tragedy. It suffered from major congenital defects, that's malformation of limbs, phocomelia. So most of the babies born to pregnant mothers who had taken thalidomide suffered from this problem, that was phocomelia. Now, first reports of birth defects were found in 1959, 13 reports of birth defects in 1961. It was withdrawn shortly afterward. 10,000 infants were affected by phocomelia, that is seal-like limbs. As you can see the figure, the babies have very short limbs and they have congenital abnormalities. Actually, it was seen that no teratogenicity was detected during clinical trials prior to launch in market. However, when it was launched in market, it was found to have teratogenicity. The next one is sulfanilamide tragedy. Now, basically, it happened before thalidomide tragedy. Now, sulfanilamide elixir was a raspberry flavored syrup by mixing sulfanilamide. Actually, this sulfanilamide is very difficult to dissolve, so it was dissolved with a solvent called diethylene glycol. And it was manufactured by S.A. Messengill Company of Bristol, US. The company had tested elixir for its appearance and palatability before launching in the market. However, in 1937, more than 100 children died after its consumption in USA. The reason was what? It was a toxic solvent, diethylene glycol. Now after these tragedies, WHO launched its program called WHO Program for International Drug Monitoring. So after these tragedies, the need for drug monitoring was well established worldwide. In 1968, the 16th World Assembly, the 16.36 resolution called for systematic collection for the information on serious adverse drug reactions during the development and particularly after the medicines have been launched for the public use. So this led to the formation of WHO Program for International Drug Monitoring Program. So it's a group of more than 150 countries that share the vision of safer and more effective usage of medicines. And India joined the WHO program in 1998. Now basically, what are the minimum requirements for a particular carrying out pharmacovigilance system? The first one, we need a National Pharmacovigilance Center. The center should have a designated staff, at least one full-time. Stable basic funding should be there. Clear responsibilities should be there. Well-defined structures and roles should be told. And a collaboration with the WHO program for international drug monitoring is required. Then there should be a national spontaneous reporting system with a national individual case safety report, that is ICSR, through which the areas can be reported. The third thing which is required is the national database, a system for collating and managing area reports. Then we have ADR or Pharmacovigilance Advisory Committee. The committee will be able to provide technical assistance or causality assessment. Now this will be taken in my next video, what is causality assessment and how it is done. So basically this committee provides assistance on causality assessment, risk assessment, risk management, case investigation and crisis management including crisis communication. Then there should be a clear communication strategy for routine communication and crisis communication. So in 1986, ADR monitoring system for India started in 1986 with 12 regional centers. In 1998, India joined the WHO program for international drug monitoring. And in 2004, between 2004 and 2008, there was National Pharmacovigilance Program which started. It was officially inaugurated by Central Health Minister at New Delhi. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in India initiated this program, which is coordinated by CDSCO, that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization. In July 2010, the Pharmacovigilance Program of India, that is PVPI, was initiated with aims New Delhi as the National Coordination Center (NCC) for monitoring areas in the country. In 15th April 2011, the NCC shifted from AIIMS New Delhi to the IPC, that is Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, IPC Ghaziabad. So we have seen that 1998 India joined WHO program. Now at that time, India had only 3 centers, that was AIIMS, the second one is KEM, King Edward Memorial Hospital, and third one was AMU, Aligarh Muslim University. Right? So this NPP was officially inaugurated by Central Health Minister as told earlier. Right? And same Ministry of Health and Family Welfare initiated this NPP by CDSCO, and program was started with 2 zonal, 5 regional and 24 peripheral centers. So finally in 15th April 2011, the NCC shifted from AIIMS to IPC Ghaziabad. Now what is the mission of this pharmacovigilance program of India? The mission was to safeguard the health of the Indian population by ensuring that the benefits of the use of medicine should outweigh the risk associated with its use. So what is the vision of PVPI program? To improve patient safety and welfare in Indian population by monitoring drug safety and thereby reducing the risk associated with the use of medicines. So if we see the scope and objectives of PVPI in India, it was to create national-wide system for patient safety reporting. Number 2 are to identify and analyze new signals from the reported cases, to analyze the benefit-risk ratio of the marketed medications, to generate evidence-based information on safety of medicines, to support regulatory agency in the decision-making process on the use of medications, to promote rational use of medicines. What are the scope and objectives of PVPI further? To promote rational use of medicine, as I told, to communicate the safety information on use of medicine to various stakeholders to minimize risk, to collaborate with the national centers for exchange of information and data management, to emerge as National Center of Excellence for Pharmacovigilance activities, to provide training and consultation to other national pharmacovigilance centers across the globe. Then what are the short-term goals? To develop and implement pharmacovigilance system in India, to enroll initially all Medical Council of India approved medical colleges in the program covering North, South, East and West of India, to encourage the healthcare professionals in reporting of the adverse reactions to drugs, to vaccines, to medical devices and biological products, and collection of case reports and data. What are the long-term goals of PVPI? To expand the PVPI to all the hospitals, government as well as private. To expand PVPI to, in public health programs located across India. To develop and implement e-reporting system. To develop reporting culture among the healthcare professionals. To make area reporting for mandatory for healthcare professionals. So as you know, what is pharmacovigilance? Pharmacovigilance is a crucial part of drug development process which is helping in assessing any drug's adverse event profile. Years after the start of WHO International Drug Monitoring Program, our Government of India has launched the PVPI program in 2010. The main function of PVPI is to monitor the adverse drug reactions efficiently by setting up various adverse drug reaction monitoring centers, which we call AMCs, across India, and training the personnel who can perform this function. The PVPI has played a very important role in generating awareness amongst the healthcare professionals about the importance and process of reporting areas, which has led to a multifold increase in area reporting. Now, what is the ICSR? ICSR is an individual case safety reports. It's an adverse event report for individual patient and a source of data in pharmacovigilance. And the main focus of ICSR reports from healthcare providers and patients in member countries of the WHO program. Now, WHO Global Individual Case Safety Report Database, which we call VGBase, is maintained and developed on behalf of WHO by UMC, Uppsala Monitoring Center. Right? Now, reporting of areas, where to report? Where do you report them? All healthcare professionals, clinicians, dentists, pharmacists, nurses, patient consumers can report the areas to NCC, that is National Pharmacovigilance Center, or AMC, that is Area Monitoring Centers, and the pharmaceutical companies can also send the ICSRs for their product to NCC. Suspected area reporting forms for healthcare professionals and consumers are available on the website of IPC to report areas. So now how to report? Suspected ADR reporting forms are there for healthcare professionals and separately for consumers. They are available on the website of IPC to report any ADR. To remove language barrier in ADR reporting, the consumer reporting form is made available in 10 vernacular languages: Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Bengali, Gujarati, Assamese, Marathi, Odia and Malayalam. Now ADRs can also be reported via PVPI helpline number, that is 1800 180 3024, which is a very simple number. It can be reported on 9 AM to 5:30 PM. The mobile Android application is also available now for ADR reporting. So it's made available to the public. So the patients can have different options to report the ADRs, the adverse drug reactions. They can use the phone helpline, they can email the same to pvpi.compat@gmail.com. Then they can report to the nearest AMC, that is Area Monitoring Center under PVPI, by submitting a blue form. This blue form is Medicine Side Effect Reporting Form for consumers. This can be downloaded from the website. This form is available in 10 vernacular languages, as I have already told you. The main purpose of PVPI program is to expand the culture of ADR reporting as much as possible in India so that maximum data can be tapped by the system. Thus, pharmacovigilance is an important tool to ensure that, that a marketed drug becomes safe for public use. Whom to report now? We have to use a suspected ADR reporting form to report any ADR, and the form is available at www.ipc.gov.in or www.cdsco.nic.in. And the field reporting form can be submitted to AMC or directly to the NCC. Reporter can also mail the form at pvpi.ipcindia@gmail.com. As I have told you, there is a toll-free number also. As you can see here, this is a red reporting form, and this is for the voluntary reporting for any ADR by the healthcare professionals, HCPs. It's called Suspected Adverse Drug Reaction Reporting Form. We will see this just after 1 or 2 slides. Then we have Medicine Side Effect Reporting Form for consumers, as the color is blue. Here the consumers can fill this form. So they can put the patient initials, they can tell reason for taking the medicine, they can tell what has happened with them and about the side effect of the medicine. So in case the report is submitted to AMC, these reports are first confirmed by the healthcare professionals and they are entered into a VigiFlow case management system and then sent to NCC for further assessment. Now let's see what are this particular suspected adverse drug reaction reporting form. It has been divided into 4 sections. One is the patient information, second is suspected adverse reaction, third is suspected medication, and the fourth one is reported details. Now this has been taken from the IPC booklet. So this is the patient information where the patient has to put the initials, the first section. Now initials mean, suppose the name is Madhu Gupta. So it should be written as MG. Right? What is the age at the time of event or maybe date of birth, then male, female, others, and the weight. Then the B part comes suspected reaction, adverse reaction. So that is the date of reaction starting in date, month and year. Date of recovery in date, month and year. And describe the reaction, problem. So HCP will be here describing the reaction. Then again suspected medication. What is the name of the suspected medication? What is brand, generic name? What is the manufacturer? What is the batch number, lot number, expiry date, dose used, route used, how much frequency is used? OD means once a day, BD means twice a day. When does the therapy started, when the therapy stopped, what is the indication, and finally the causality assessment. Then what is the action taken? Whether the suspected drug was withdrawn, or the dose increased, or the dose reduced, dose not changed, or unknown. Then what did the reaction reappeared after reintroduction? Now this is called re-challenge. Reintroduction, re-challenge, the point at which drug is to be given again to a patient after its previous withdrawal. So we have to mark it. If yes, the reaction reappeared, yes, we will mark yes. If it did not, no, effect unknown. And we have to tell the dose which is reintroduced. Then concomitant medication. That we have to give the information of the concomitant medical product including self-medication, including the herbal remedies which we are taking with the suspected drug. So there we have to tell the names of the concomitant medical products, the dose used, route used, frequency, therapy dates and for what it was used. Then we come to the reporter details. That is name of the reporter, who is reporting, the name of the doctor, the healthcare professional, name and professional address, email, telephone number, its occupation, signature, and with the date of this report. Then what is the relevant test and laboratory data was done with dates, relevant medication history of the patient, whether the patient suffered from allergy or due to race or due to pregnancy, smoking, alcohol use, hepatic dysfunction. How serious is the reaction? It has to be entered, whether it is serious, yeah, then we'll say yes. If it's not serious, then we'll say no. Now serious means, did it cause death? When did it cause death? Date, month, year. Was it life-threatening? It caused permanent damage. Whether it prolonged the hospitalization or it caused hospitalization. Whether it led to congenital anomaly or it required intervention to prevent the damage. And last one is disability. So what is the outcome? What happened when the suspected drug basically was withdrawn? The patient recovered, or the patient is recovering, it's not recovered, the position is fatal, it's recovered with a sequel, and it's maybe unknown. So additional information, more information on the ADA report that are not fit in the respective column given the ADA form can be entered in the field of additional information. That is more information about the suspected drug indication. So I think this was my last slide. Thank you, Neha. This was my last slide, and I hope you could understand what is PVPI, Pharmacovigilance Program of India, and how it was launched by AIIMS, and it was carried to the given to the IPC Ghaziabad. And IPC is actively doing pharmacovigilance activities, and we have seen the goals, objectives, scope, and finally we have seen how we can report an ADR. So thank you all.